recognize the difficult career they have chosen as in public service to us all. Now therefore, I, Bill Lambert, the mayor of the city of Moscow, do hereby proclaim the 9th of January, 2022, Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in the city of Moscow, and I encourage our citizens, pardon me, to recognize the commitment and contributions of our community's peacekeepers and take the time to show appreciation for the massive sacrifices our officers make while protecting our communities. With that, we've got Chief Fry here, and Chief, I'd like you to come up so I can present this proclamation to you, sir. You're way back, you need to get a little closer. Very good at faces and the we got a student. She said smooth.
I can pay for that 3 hours later.
I feel like the mayor, I'll always take an opportunity to speak. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council, and the rest of the city staff. And thanks to the community. We do appreciate all that you give us in support, and just know that we do love serving this community and the people of this community. So thank you.
Chief, you're a fine officer and you lead the way, buddy. Okay, with that, I will move on to the approval of the Moscow City Council December 20th, 21 meeting minutes.
I move approval of the council minutes from December 20th.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion by Art and a second by Gina to approve the council meeting minutes from December 20th. I'll start to roll with Maureen.
Aye.
Gina.
Aye.
Sandra.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
Brandy.
Aye.
And Ann.
Aye.
Item number 2, staff recognition report. Gary Reno, do you have anything for us this evening, sir?
I just want to remind the community that this inclement weather is an inconvenience, and more so than a lot of times of year. But just wanted to acknowledge our street crews and our emergency services folks who go out all the time. If you went out at 5 o'clock tonight, you saw a lot of our officers out there trying to take care of fender benders and that sort of thing. And the street crews work around the clock to try and keep the streets clear. So just wanted to recognize all of those folks.
Yep, and hats off to them, Gary, because all the way through this holiday season, they work 24/7 frequently to keep things cleared up for us, for all of our streets. So very nice, and looks like they've got more work ahead of them too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to item number 3, the 2022 City Limits Ordinance. We've got Cody Riddle with us this evening. Good evening, Cody.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. It's a very routine item, but before I just summarize that, I just want to congratulate you, the outgoing council members, and the incoming council members. That's, I guess, the main event this evening. So congratulations and thank you. This item is routine. It's a routine requirement of state law, more specifically section 63-215 of state code that requires taxing districts to file a new legal description and map reflecting any changes in their boundary over the previous year. This is required to occur by January 10th of each year. In our case, the boundary was adjusted through 3 separate annexations this year: the Woodbury project to the north, the Thompson project to the east, and then the largest, Eddington, to the south. In total, those annexations added roughly 260 acres to the city, bringing the total acreage to 4,738, give or take a little bit. This was illustrated in a map and description that was included in your packet this evening. This isn't a new land use decision that's before you this evening. We are simply asking that you formally recognize the new city boundary as required by state law. So with that, we are recommending approval of the ordinance this evening, adopting that new boundary, and in doing so, that you do that under suspension of the rules requiring 3 separate readings. Thank you.
Questions for Cody? Gina.
Tell me again the number, the addition that we made to them.
To roughly 260 acres.
Thank you.
Art?
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the ordinance under suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings that be read by title and published by summary.
Second.
I thought for a minute we weren't gonna get a second on that, Cody, so.
So we wanted Cody to read the whole thing.
It's a little initiation we like to do
So
here.
we have a motion by Art and a second by Gene to approve the ordinance under the suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and that it be read by title and published by summary. And I will start to roll with Ann.
Aye.
Brandy.
Aye.
Art.
Aye.
Sandra.
Aye.
Gina.
Aye.
And Maureen.
Aye.
Okay, and with that, we do have a new ordinance. Ordinance number 2022-01, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2021-01 of the city of Moscow, Idaho, establishing and declaring in this ordinance corporate limits of the city of Moscow, Latah County, Idaho, in accordance with the provisions of the laws of the state of Idaho relating to the establishments of boundaries in annexation of adjacent and continuous territory, providing for repeal and any other ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict therewith, providing a severance and savings clause, and for the effective date of this ordinance. Whatever that may mean, folks. Kind of a mouthful, just had to share that. You know, this is my last one, so I figured I'll have a little bit of fun with this. And so there you have it. But so we're gonna move on to item number four. Portable collection DS session. We have got Megan Sherry with us, and we are going to talk about a duck. So Megan does have the podium. Oh, here we go. And here's the duck, everybody. This is a dandy. Okay. What do you want me to do?
What is that?
I'll put it back on later.
What's it for?
Oh, yeah, well, you'll see.
It
I
lights
think you
up.
have to pay attention to know about it.
Okay.
It's a fine-looking duck, folks.
Time to learn.
Alrighty, and a fine-looking duck it is. Thank you, Mayor, members of council, members of city staff. It's really an honor to be bringing this item to you this evening. This is the portable collection deaccession that the Arts Commission city staff several months now. Just a little bit about our portable collection. There's the duck there for those of you who couldn't see it when we were walking it up to the mayor. The portable collection here at the city of Moscow is the oldest public art collection that we have. We have multiple different veins of public art programming, but this portable collection goes back to 1985. And we currently have 94 individual pieces in this collection, and they're housed in public areas in the city, city offices. Basically, it underlines the city of Moscow's ethos of investing. A wooden duck decoy that was made by Frank Werner. Frank Werner is an artist who lives in St. Mary's. He is a duck decoy maker and a duck hunter, and it seems that his year is pretty much split between those two activities. The decoy was donated to the city in 2004 and has pretty much nested in Gary's office since that time. So, before you today is the proposed action is to deaccession the duck for the purposes of gifting to City Supervisor Gary Riedner upon his retirement. Throughout this presentation, I've woven in a few pieces of research of pieces of artwork from that prominently feature ducks. This one is from the German Renaissance, which I thought was really appropriate because Gary, with his German heritage, is about to have a renaissance of his own, and so I chose this particular piece to lead off the conversation. That was a little art joke for you. So, okay, so this is the proposed action for us this evening. Just to give you a little bit of a timeline, we have run this through a very rigorous process because that's how we do business here at the City of Moscow, but also to just avoid any appearance or actuality of foul play. We started this conversation with the Arts Commission in October. They had a very rigorous discussion about the topic of gifting a piece from the public art collection. This came to them in October. They asked me to conduct some research, which I did, including a lengthy and wonderful conversation with the artist. Who is passionate and a wonderful human being and is very much in favor of this action, by the way. He was very enthusiastic about this. And so we did some research, and in November, they did vote to recommend deaccessioning the duck. You'll remember that this came to admin in December, at which point we decided this was, of course, the most appropriate meeting for further discussion about the duck. Okay, so our public art guidelines do offer some very clear advice about how to deaccession something from the collection. These public art guidelines were, you will remember reading those. And the intent is that the Arts Commission would provide not only recommendation, but also rationale for deaccessioning and gifting the duck. So the MAC recommendation, before I get to their recommendation, I wanted to just pause for a minute and call your attention to the federal duck stamp images. The federal duck stamp project is a really interesting art project, and I won't get too deep into it, other than to say it's very much like some of our temporary public art opportunities that have grown significantly during Gary's tenure as city supervisor. The duck stamp on the top is from Gary's first year as a city employee, and the one on the bottom is from his last year here at the city. So the MAC recommends, there's your duck stamps. The MAC recommends deaccession and gifting of the duck for the following reasons. Gary has been with the city for an extraordinarily long period of time. He's had a longstanding appreciation for and clearly proximity to the duck, and the MAC felt that was a really strong point for why it should stay with him, and for the arts in Moscow. And so they felt that this gift was appropriate for that reason as well. So moving on to staff recommendation. As you can see here, sort of illustrated by this, this porcelain charger plate, we're recommending that the duck be allowed to fly free and go to Colton with Gary as a gift and with appreciation. But staff recommendation in this particular item is a little bit more complex, and I'll ask for a little bit more of your time. I've asked some of my colleagues to help with this particular staff recommendation, starting with our poem interlude by Amanda Argona, who tonight is the captain of puns, poems, and produce.
Welcome, Amanda.
Evening, everyone, and thank you, Megan, for charging me with the very most challenging poem I've ever written in my 34 years of living. It's an acrostic poem. It's got puns in it, and it rhymes, and that takes a lot of planning. So this cut into my New Year's Day celebrations, Gary, so you better appreciate it. Reader, what is there to say except congratulations this wintry day? Through the years you awoke at the quack of dawn, impeccable timing and service. You, sir, were not winging it all along. Rest easy, big guy. You've been through the winger. Enjoy, Enjoy a homebrew and football. This next chapter will surely be a humdinger. May you continue to be the wise quacka, even on foul weather days. Now go brush up on that chili, you cheesehead packer. 3 beers for Gary, hop, hop, hooray.
Thank you, Amanda. She's uniquely qualified for this kind of thing. Okay, and next, I wanted to call everyone's attention to the importance of acronyms. Of course, everybody knows what an acronym is, but those who are not involved in municipal governments might not know how important it is that we have a lot of acronyms in city government. Without them, it doesn't seem like things move as smoothly. So appropriately, we have a bit of an acronym for you this evening, a quackronym, if you will. Because Gary does so thoroughly embody the quack principle. And once again, I'm honored to have some of my colleagues here to help me with the presentation of all of the points of this quackronym. And so with no further ado, Sarah.
Welcome, Sarah.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Gary. Yep, I'm up here with quality, and so I'd like to start out with a definition. According to the dictionary, I'm not sure which one exactly, it's the one you find when you look up words on Google. Anyway, the definition of quality is the standard of something as measured against other things of similar kind. It's the degree of excellence of something. Putting this into perspective, when Gary Verse became my mentor, he preached many, many things, all of which I now realized he helped me and those around me rise to the level of quality Gary has always believed we can and should be. As we all know, Gary has many ways of doing things. First and foremost, until he trusts you, the questions are endless. And honestly, even once he trusts you, they're still endless. I'm just kidding, Gary. Gary is of an attorney mind and background, and in case you don't know, law and accounting, well, let's just say they don't always mix. So needless to say, our communication dance definitely took some time to perfect. Some great skills I have learned from him, though, especially pertaining to quality and the quality of my position, are as follows. Always be prepared. Provide your research and the reason for your decision. Always, 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 people use layman terms and never answer with just because. As you can imagine, when trying to get an attorney to understand accounting principles, the simple answer is just because is much easier and oftentimes very fitting, but I have learned it never works. Along with being prepared, provide work that is accurate. Errors take away your validity, even if ultimately you're correct. When having discussions and trying to determine the best outcome, see both sides. Like Gary always says, there's always one way to skin a cat. Lastly, if you don't get the answer you want, still respect the answer you get, unless of course it's illegal. Then by all means, Gary says, stand your ground and state your case loud and clear. So reality is, in many things I have learned under Gary's wing, that it's endless. When thinking of Gary and what he's taught me, the definition of quality, I believe, represents him. The highest degree of excellence, especially measured against others of similar kind. Gary supersedes many, and his presence and knowledge will undoubtedly be missed.
I am normally not very emotional. This is going to be hard. Hence why it's brief. Understanding. A complex, multifaceted character trait that requires a process of comprehending a multitude of situations and people that is truly an art form to master. As city supervisor, Gary had to understand many things. The workings of city government, how that interplays with county, state, and federal laws and regulations. The city councilors and mayors who were elected to serve vital roles for our city of Moscow and to provide them the support and guidance required of the position. The city staff and the various job responsibilities, the various personalities, and how to supervise, guide, and lead us in a way where we would all work to our utmost potential, utilizing our strengths. Gary clearly understood his responsibility as city supervisor. He competently led, guided, and provided support with the undertone of understanding the complexities of the issues before him, understanding the people he would need to rely on to address the issues, and doing what he could to make sure the people he was relying on had the tools they needed to carry out their responsibilities. Vince Lombardi, former Green Bay Packer coach, once said, "The challenge of every team is to build a feeling of oneness, of dependence on one another, because the question is usually not how well each person performs, but how well they work together." Gary understood this challenge of being the city supervisor. He challenged us to reach our potential, provided us the tools and support to do so, and worked to build a city team, a city family that supports one another and understands the work we do is for the good of the city. Gary embodies a complex, multifaceted character trait of understanding, and his contributions to the city and his mentorship will be missed.
Well, Gary, the A in our acronym stands for activates. And it seemed that I would be the appropriate presenter for this word within the acronym as the lone recipient 3 years running of the Dilbert Award, so kindly given to me by you in honor of my action and the action that I've taken since working for the city of Moscow. So as much as I lament not being able to be there in the snow with everybody, I'm recording this from slightly warmer temperatures. But I look forward to being back in time for the retirement party. Activates is something that I have always actually really admired in my time working with Gary. We have far different approaches. Anybody who's worked with both of us know that the way that we work, our approach to our work is very different. But the thing that I've found very interesting in public service, Gary always has talked about having the heart of a public servant. And I do think that that's something that we do have in common. And especially on the local government level, I've learned so much from Gary in my time working about that selfless service, about really having the priority be making it better for the greater good. It's something that attracted me to local government from the get-go was the ability to have an impact on people's lives and an impact that they don't always see or don't always understand or often take for granted. I think back on Gary's career and over the course of 30 plus years, the impact that he's had on people that they'll never know, the myriad of seemingly insignificant actions that he's taken that are necessary for us to be able to live the way that we live in a wonderful place. People don't realize that in his position, Gary has been largely responsible for the efficient delivery of public safety services, police, fire, critical utility services, transportation, water, sewer, storm, sanitation, recreation services, that their kids can go play sports, have parks to go to, have places to meet with friends. I like to think that cities, local government was the very first government. It's the government that happened because people quit being hunters and gatherers and stopped in one place. And largely the reason was they wanted to spend more time in a bigger group. And that requires the services that local government provides. And the fact that Gary has had such a disproportionate role in providing that for thousands and thousands of people that will probably never know his name, and done that with such consistency is so amazing to me. And one thing that I've always been impressed by is over the course of all of those years, Gary's never stagnated. When people come to Gary with an idea, even though he may be resistant initially, he's always willing to listen and to hear about it, to think about it, to process it, and come back with suggestions, with recommendations, with things that he think could make that work. And so he's always remained very flexible, but also he's been someone who does demand action. He wants to see things happen, and doesn't allow us to just sit on our laurels and say it's good enough. Moscow punches above its weight, and I've always said that. And that is largely because that's the tone that Gary sets. He expects us to work hard to run a good operation that serves the residents of Moscow and to take those actions necessary to do that. And so, been such an honor working with you, Gary, and wish you all the best in retirement.
Maybe more than 10 minutes. We'll see.
Welcome, Bill.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. When I was approached to provide some remarks regarding how Gary has exemplified community for this auspicious event, it struck me that I've always had a special appreciation for waterfowl. As you may know, my father was once athletic director at the University of Idaho. He was a driven individual who enjoyed a challenge and was always looking forward to the next one. About halfway through his tenure at the University of Idaho, the same position at the University of Oregon opened up, and he applied. The following weekend, our family was visiting Stuckey's Feed and Garden, you may recall, over on Jackson Street. As we walked through the store, we came upon a pen containing ducklings for sale. Somehow my dad felt that was fate. He was sure he was going to get the job, and we would be heading to Oregon, and we soon found ourselves leaving Stuckey's with a duckling named Eugene after the whole event. As fate would have it, a week later, we learned we would not be moving to Oregon. But regardless, Eugene became a beloved member of our family, and I have many, many fond memories of Eugene following me around the neighborhood everywhere I went. They say that building a community requires that people feel valued and their work and contributions have dignity. Over the last 27 years as city supervisor, Gary has developed a strong community of nearly 200 public servants here at the city of Moscow. Gary's recognition and appreciation for the value, worth, and dignity of city employees has created shared purpose and meaning that are critical to building a strong community. Gary has never forgotten both the professional and personal needs of the city employees and has been a steadfast champion for treating employees fairly, equally, and with humility. The most effective communities are those who take risks, try new things, create and innovate. And Gary has consistently encouraged and supported employees to challenge themselves, to think outside the box. I mean, he even allowed the wastewater treatment plant to be named the Water Reclamation and Reuse Facility, the WRF, a name which after 10 years, no one can pronounce or even remember, including himself. Effective communities also embrace conflict and diversity, working through differences of opinion and making space for civil discourse and the learning that occurs from appreciating those multiple points of view. While Gary is somewhat known for reminding us all that this is not a democracy, Gary has always been patient, respectful, and open to others' views. He has strived to ensure the city of Moscow is a safe place for everyone, regardless of their views or opinions. And strong communities are always evolving. They aren't immune from tough circumstances. Instead, they become stronger as they cope together. There has been no lack of challenges and difficult times during the course of Gary's service to the community. Whether dealing with a global pandemic, economic recessions, or the tragic loss of a city employee, Gary's leadership and strength has helped our community through those challenges and become stronger for it. Most importantly, is a community that is our family. Gary, excuse me. Gary has made many sacrifices, and there have been many family events and activities he's missed as a result of his commitment to service to this community. Gary is often the first to arrive, and after at least 1,000 council meetings, he is likely the last to leave. Through it all, Gary and Terry have raised a beautiful family of loving, strong, and vibrant children and grandchildren that will carry their family name and traditions into the future. Family is the foundation of our lives, our greatest purpose, and Gary and Terry have built one that will continue for generations to come. I cannot help but think that Gary and I must share this appreciation of our feathered friends. I have always cherished and valued my relationship with Gary and appreciate his mentoring and guidance over the last 20 years we worked together. Gary's departure will leave a large hole in our community, one that will not be easy to fill. But as I say, all good things must come to an end, and I am sure this next phase of his life will be filled with joyful times with family and friends. Thank you.
And I have to say it, that is a tough flock to follow. Everybody said so many tremendous things, which is amazing. And I am honored to take up the K in our acronym for kindness. There are theories on how survival of the fittest doesn't necessarily mean the most cutthroat approach to that survival, but in fact rewards those who do what Gary's done throughout his entire career, and being kind, genuinely kind, that actually benefits both parties, the giver and the receiver. And Gary's achieved that and will continue to achieve that great success because, yes, he's smart, he's experienced, he's got the law degree. It's very impressive. But the kindness is really, I think, what brings it all together. He sees that possibility of human spirit, and through his kindness fosters that in everyone he knows. And he knows just about everybody. If you go to lunch with Gary, you will probably be introduced to somebody. I don't think I've been introduced to the same person twice, and he usually knows their family and everyone else. So that friendliness is really, really the embodiment of kindness as well. He is the host with the most. He welcomes everyone with open arms, has an impressive ability to remember all of those family member names. And I'm pretty sure he knows just about everyone, at least on the Palouse, if not in the Pacific Northwest. His friendly nature, I mean, it's a hearty handshake. It's a sense of humor. It's Dilbert Awards. It's dad jokes, an impressive run of dad jokes over the years. And then I've also seen examples of Gary's kindness when there's really hard decisions at hand. He has a level of consideration and empathy that is hard to find. You'd think that at times with the types of what are sometimes very difficult decisions that he's faced, that you'd form an armor, a wall defense mechanism to deal with that. And frankly, he hasn't. Each and every hard decision he's worked through, he's done with a fully empathetic approach and a very kind heart. I'm sure these things have kept him up at night, at least. One of the things that I've learned from Gary in these hard decisions is take your time, exhaust all resources, make sure you're doing the right things for the right reasons, and keep people as whole as possible throughout the entire process. So this extends to Gary's management of just a few employees back in the day, up to, we've got 170 souls today aboard this ship. During Gary's time, he's been able to lead us through economic downturns, recessions, political changes, and discomfort and more, and he has not sacrificed one soul along the way. It's a tremendous feat. It's a point of pride that I think Gary has, and which makes sense. It's a tremendous thing to have accomplished. Gary's made sure behind the scenes that every single employee has time to celebrate new babies, weddings, celebrate any milestone. He does this selflessly, consistently, and quietly, frankly. So kindness also shows itself in generosity. I know I've felt this most as Gary has been, and hopefully will continue to be a true mentor to me personally and many people in this room, and probably not in this room. I think there are a few people who have benefited from his gracious sharing of advice and thoughts, and the time that he generously gives to each of us is tremendous. Depth of knowledge, always impressive, but mostly his commitment to taking time to sharing that depth of knowledge so that you understand where you're coming from, where you're going, thought process behind it, and he lets you come to your own conclusions at the same time. Through his many years of city management experience, practicing as a lawyer, I don't believe he's ever stopped learning, and he then continues to pass that on to the rest of us. So one of the first things Gary taught me after he made me read the city code in December when no one was here was the concept of having this heart of a public servant. You've heard that a couple of times tonight. Gary embodies that concept as the poster child for public service, and I really look forward to the rest of us taking that on in his stead. So thank you, Gary, on behalf of all of us, for being such a wonderful public servant, leader, and mentor, for being a living example of ethical management, positive leadership, having the courage and strength to personify all of the characteristics highlighted tonight and more, and for your friendship. You are and will continue to be appreciated regardless of where you work from. I commit to you, and I'm sure many others will join me in that commitment, your legacy of serving our community with kindness, quality, understanding, activation, and community. Sorry, I had them all memorized in the beginning. Thank you.
And with that very thorough staff recommendation, I would love to stand for questions about this DX session.
Questions for Megan about the duck? And by the way, my guess is this duck's name probably should be Packer. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Yeah, I can't say that I have the expertise for that. If council chooses to de-accession the duck, maybe Gary could handle the naming process.
So,
Yeah, right. Want to, Brandy?
Oh, sure. I will, I move that the de-accession and gift duck decoy to Gary Reedner.
Second.
okay. Is there any further discussion about the duck before I call?
I will just add that I was the liaison to the Arts Commission this year. And Megan only touched upon, it was a very vigorous discussion and a lot of research went into this. They were quite thorough in wanting to pursue every possibility when making this decision. When they came to this recommendation, it was very well reasoned and researched, thanks to you and the commission. So
You soared to new heights with the duck.
Okay, we have a motion by Brandy and a second by Sandra, the de-accession and gift duck decoy to Gary Reeder. I'll start the roll with Maureen,
Aye.
Gina,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
Brandy,
hi.
and Ann. And so now,
Whoa.
your
Gotta
hand.
think about it, you know?
Okay, so now we have the duck.
Well, so, and before we have the duck, there's a an official document that we use in the arts department. It's very similar to a city resolution, which is an actual real official document. Ours is a with air quotes official document. It's called an art solution. And so here we have the definition of it. It's a seemingly official document that mimics the appearance and function of a city resolution used for ceremonial purposes such as this one, whenever good-natured fun is desired within public sector operations. So to introduce the first art solution of 2022 is Amy Pettit. Today, her job title is lead designer of the City of Moscow Aquatorium. She has created this lovely nest for the art solution that will be read by Mayor-elect Betke. Just pull on the little tab on the ribbon there, and there you go.
Oh, yes. Behold. This is definitely an official document, and because everybody's already heard an ordinance read tonight, and there's also heard a proclamation for Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, you know what the drill is here. Art Solution number 2022-01, an art solution of the City of Moscow, Idaho, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, de-accessioning the duck decoy from the City of Moscow portable art collection, that it may fly freely to roost with the Reedner family, providing this art solution to be effective upon its passage according to the principles of kindness and good humor. Whereas City Supervisor Reedner has served the City of Moscow for an extraordinarily long time and with great faithfulness to the community, and whereas the duck decoy made by the hand of Frank Werner has nested near his desk since its donation by Sam and Lois Butterfield to the city portable collection, and whereas Reedner's longstanding appreciation of wildlife artwork parallels the wildness and beauty of his journey as a public servant, and whereas Reedner has ducked neither responsibility for the well-being of the city nor opportunities to support the successes of his team, and whereas art is in itself a celebration of human culture and therefore fits the bill as a token of appreciation for Reedner's steadfast support of arts and culture in the City of Moscow, now therefore shall the duck migrate from the city collection as a gift to feather the retirement nest of Gary Reedner, a cherished leader, mentor, and friend, by the power vested in me by this universally cherished principles of kindness and good humor. I thusly deem it to be so this 3rd day of January, 2022. And with that, I seize this magnificent quill and affix my signature to the parchment. It's not quite official yet.
It's got to be notarized or something, I think, over there.
Oh, yes, she's got a speech.
I will attest your signature, Mayor-elect. And stamp it with the official smiley face stamp. Presented to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna very,
drop the duck.
don't say things like that. I gotta hold a packer, I'm taking extra good care. We gotta walk you up by the podium and I'm holding on to this duck. This duck has been sad, by the way, because everything's been coming out of your office, so. It's kind of a lonely duck up here. I think the duck wants me, but not as much as it likes you. So I'm gonna keep you this duck.
Couldn't hold it together till the end.
Good roll away, Ann. On a picture.
I'll be brief. Oh, I would say more words about you, but I think everything's been about said, haven't they? So here's the podium, sir.
A little history about that duck. That duck was purchased by Sam Lewis Butterfield in a fundraiser for the 1912 building back when the city was trying to raise funds for our renovation of the building. And immediately, I don't guess Sam wasn't much of a duck guy because he immediately donated it to the city, at which point I had it affixed to my wall, and it's been there ever since. But no. I don't know who you folks were describing tonight, but he sounds like a heck of a guy, and I'd sure like to meet him. I am just totally overwhelmed. I appreciate it. I certainly appreciate the testimonials of the staff. This gift means a lot to me. The community means a lot to me. The heart of a servant, I think, is something that all of our staff gets beaten into their heads, that it takes, public service is not an easy task, and it takes special people to do it well. We are extremely fortunate to have special people do that, and that includes our elected officials as well. You certainly don't do that job for the money, and I've certainly enjoyed serving with all of you over the years. And with that, brevity is a virtue, and I will take my seat. Thank you very much.
Well, that was kind of fun, Gary. I must admit that that duck is, well, anyway, well, I won't say any more about the duck. We'll move on to item number 5, which is the oath of office for Bill Belknap, and we've got Lori Hopkins going to do that. So, you need a few minutes, dear? I'll go on.
About 10 years.
I would also note that the swearing in tonight will take effect Friday, the 7th, which was the what the council, when the appointment was made last summer. So keep moving, Jen.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Idaho,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Idaho,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
all the duties of city supervisor
all the duties of city supervisor
of Moscow, Idaho,
of Moscow, Idaho,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities. Thank you, Your Honor. As some of you may know, Lisa and I have called Moscow home for nearly 44 years, the last 20 of which has been my pleasure to serve this community in a number of different capacities. Today, I look forward to the opportunity to continue that service in this new role. And I want to thank the mayor, council, and Gary for your trust and faith in me to do so. I also want to thank my wife and children, Sawyer and Madison, for their love and support. Without their support and understanding, I would not have been able to make the commitments this position will require. I look forward to working with our current and incoming mayor and council members and all of our city's exceptional staff and service to this great community.
Congratulations, Bill. There's no doubt in my mind at all that you will make a fine city supervisor, Bill Belknap. Okay, well, we're going to move on to item number 6, but I got to ask, because this is for reports from the mayor and or city council members regarding any commission or committee meetings since December 20th. Has anybody had any meetings since December 20th? Please raise your hands.
Nope.
That makes it easy, neither do I. So we will move right on to the next thing, which is recognition of myself and Brad, council member Brad. And I don't have any idea. I wanted to kind of keep my stuff low key tonight, but somehow.
It's not a low-key night.
So, yeah, this is not a routine night, so it is a fun night, however.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to drop that, I know. It's one of those things that every 2 years, there are people elected, people who decide not to run for reelection or just to leave the council or the mayorship. And as I indicated, these jobs don't pay a lot of money. There's a lot of responsibility. Those of you who've been on the council the last 2 years know that it has not been an easy slog. Council has made decisions, the mayor's made decisions that have always been aimed at the betterment of the community. However, as in almost every walk of life, not everyone believes that the direction taken is the right direction. And it takes moral courage to be able to do that. And the community thanks you for your service. We have a couple of folks who will not be continuing on this board. So we wanted to recognize those. First, I would like to recognize Councilor Brandy Sullivan with a small token of our esteem.
Go on down, Brandy.
Gotta get my glasses on. I can't read anything. Okay. So the inscription says Brandy Sullivan, City Councilor, 2018 to 2021. Thank you. Come on forward. Now, every 4 years, there is an opportunity for someone to sit in the mayor's chair. And for the last 8 years, it's been Bill Lambert. Bill served one term on city council. Prior to that, took a few years off. And before that was on the Planning and Zoning Commission, I believe Zoning Board of Adjustment as well. So well-versed, and he's always been an advocate for community service. He appreciates the city employees. He appreciates the community. He is a never-ending advocate for, if you want to be a city council member, then get on a city commission, join, come in, see how the sausage is being made, and then take your place at the dais. Bill's been a dynamic leader. Certainly over the last 8 years, we have made strides in the community that I think are will be felt for many, many years to come. As I've told him, whether it's a new police station, the Haddock building, you name it, I think the mayor's main accomplishment, the best accomplishment, is the creation and the steadfast adherence to the strategic plan. The strategic plan that was adopted back in 2015 has been our guiding document. It's allowed us to move forward, do some things that a lot of people never thought could be done. So as a token of our appreciation to you, Mr. Mayor, we have something for you as well if you come down. There's a lot of writing on this I have to read. It says, from the city of Moscow, thank you for your service. This is a quote of the mayor. It's amazing what we can accomplish when we all pull in the same direction. Bill Lambert, Mayor of the City of Moscow, 2014 through 2021. Thank you for your leadership. And then there is a word cloud that was created by going through all of his state of the city addresses. And the biggest word is Moscow. Planning, city, priority-based, which you all know is priority-based budgeting. You've heard that a few times. But anyway, there's this very nice clock that he can keep on his desk as he's checking the stock prices at 3 a.m.
Smile, Mayor.
Okay, that's all. Anyway, folks, this is what it looks like. I am going to talk a few minutes. Thank you, Gary, very much for those kind words, and I got to share my thoughts. I'm going to let Brandy speak too. Brandy, why don't you share your thoughts
Sure.
first, and I'll get my act together here a little
Okay.
bit, okay?
All right. All right. So, yeah, this is a strange day, almost as strange as the day that I took the oath of office, which I never really thought would happen. So, just wanted to start by thanking all my fellow counselors and the mayor. You all listened respectfully to each other, remained objective, and kept an open mind, interested to hear what each other had to say. I feel fortunate that I was able to serve in this capacity with working together to get things done without bickering, without drama. And you all play a big part in why this has been a very positive experience for me. And I'm so glad that I have done this. Another rewarding aspect has been everything I've learned from the collaboration with city staff, city supervisor, the commission volunteers, the level of expertise and creativity and ingenuity and thoroughness that you all bring to the council is just vital and very appreciated. I know I ask a lot of questions and staff has been welcoming of those questions and prepared to answer them, which better informs me to make a decision, and also, just as importantly, better informs the public at large, which is, I think, a really important part of these public meetings. I also want to thank all the citizens of Moscow for voting, for paying attention, for emailing, for coming to meetings, providing public comment, volunteering on commissions, supporting each other, and just volunteering out there in the community. When reflecting back on the last 4 years, beyond the standard daily operations of the city, which I for sure took for granted before I learned everything I've learned, the things that Tyler mentioned, streets, water, sewer, garbage, police, fire, the parks, arts, so many things, snow removal, which we're all appreciating right now. Beyond that, I think there are a few highlights for me that were specific to what this council did. One of them is this council and mayor, we shared a commitment to inclusiveness, looking out for the underrepresented in our community. There was the decision to convert existing as well as plan future public restrooms to be all gender bathrooms, the addition of affordable housing as a major challenge area, the addition of a means to report incidents of bias, and the allocation recently of $900,000 of federal ARPA funds for affordable housing, small business and nonprofits most impacted by COVID, including those that address homelessness, transient housing, food insecurity, education, domestic violence, substance abuse and treatment, and mental health. I'm excited to hear about the grants
that will be awarded by the new council and new mayor over the next couple of years. So it's going to go far, I think, to help a lot of people here in Moscow. I am also glad to have been a part of this council that enacted measures with our unique downtown in mind. This included supporting businesses through COVID with creative solutions and with community support, changing the zoning code back to its pre-2008 state so that additional and expanded educational uses are not permitted in the central business district to retain them for business purposes. And most recently, the establishment of a downtown entertainment district. Another thing I think was a little unique is science had a bit of a bigger role, I think, in the last couple years than is typical for a council. And we had a lot of reason to look to science for guiding us in some policy making. There was the addition of climate change as a major challenge area in response to scientific data compiled by the Climate Action Working Group, the Citizens for Climate Lobby, and the Police Action League. And of course, COVID. We followed recommendations of health experts. We joined with our community partners and didn't let politics interfere with our policy making. I'm proud of how we, as well as our city staff and our citizens, remain flexible and responsive to changing information and evolving knowledge. And everyone did and still is doing the best they can. Nobody knows how things would have turned out had we responded differently, but we do know how neighboring counties with different approaches fared. And I credit our community for making sacrifices to take care of each other to the best of our ability. I've learned through my experience on council that not only is Moscow a great place to live, which I already knew, but also to serve as an elected official. And I highly recommend it. And I'm glad to see more people stepping up and running and getting involved. And it's a very rewarding experience. So in closing, I just want to briefly acknowledge each of you with 2 adjectives that describes what I think makes you a great counselor, followed by a yearbook style best of. So I'm going to start with Anne. Taciturn, but resolute. And you have the best laugh. We all know that. Indisputable. Art. Even-keeled and articulate. Best eyebrows. I'm going to come to you last, Bill, so I'm moving on to Sandra. Thoughtful and community engaged. Best socks. You might not all know that, but she gives us a peek once in a while. Gina. Direct and efficient. Best hair. Okay. And Maureen, prepared and persistent. And you have the best smile. And lastly, Bill, committed and genuine. And most likely to eat an elephant.
That was amazing, Brandy. So the eat an elephant, boy, that brings up a few discussions we've had in this city hall and various offices within this city. But I got to share what I want to talk about is, you know, Gary had mentioned strategic planning, priority-based budgeting, and this council up here got that. We started that process in 2015, as Gary had mentioned, and it's taking care of itself and it's moving things forward. And it'll move the new council and the new mayor forward as they move along. And it was the thing that really drives our budget and drives things that make it happen in this city from a city standpoint. I got to share some of the things. I want to talk a little bit about staff. And I'm going to congratulate Bill Belknap. You're going to be the new boss, Bill, and you'll make a fine one. And Gary, after the 30 years that you've been as the city attorney as well as the city supervisor, well deserved of a retirement. I don't know of a guy that works any harder than this guy right here. I wake up early all the time, and it's kind of fun once in a while because we even have a conversation very early when most people are still sleeping for the next few hours. He comes to work early, he goes home late, and he's just one of those dedicated guys that just makes it happen. But this staff that we have here in the city of Moscow is absolutely amazing. Whether it be Mia Batista as our city attorney, or Larry Hopkins as our city clerk, and who, by the way, is also the Idaho State president. I love saying that. It's one of my favorite things. And Sarah Banks, our finance director, and I can go on and on and on because we've got great folks. Jen Piffner, Tyler Palmer. Although Palmer, it would have been kind of fun to have him here so we could kind of give him the business. Don't you think, Gary?
We'll get our
And
chance.
actually, Gary, for Gary, and Gary's, Palmer was a good challenge for Gary. He kind of tickled me because he had some interesting times and came a long ways, but they both bring a lot to the table. And of course, Jen Piffner, Cody Riddle, our new one of our new deputy directors, as well as many of the citizens, the 170 people that work for this city. They do an outstanding job, and I stand by them all the time. From day one as a mayor, I did. Never one time would I throw anybody under the bus. If there's something I didn't like, whoever it was knew it, and because it was very direct about it. So anybody that knows me knows that. But they came across pretty quick because look at you got to cut through the chase and get the business when you need to get things done. But we've got a wonderful staff. Commissions, all the various commissions out here that we have, and the support and the people that are on commissions. We have a number of them in this audience right now. And that's what makes our city great, is the volunteerism. And for those, I've said this the entire 8 years I've been the mayor. Look, if you want to be a counselor someday, get involved in commissions, get involved with what's going on, get involved with your community and see what's helping. Be a volunteer for these things. And I did that. I did that for 5 years on planning and zoning and 4 years on the Board of Adjustment. And I had a total of 21 years of doing that. And it was my honor to be able to do that and serve. And I got to share with you the councils I've had. I've had some terrific councils, some very good councils that present and past. But this present council has been very, very steadfast. Because when we dealt with the tough stuff that we dealt with these last couple of years, they stood right in there and they never wavered a bit. And I was so proud of them for doing that, because guess what? By God, we did what we thought was right for the community, not for ourselves. Never was a political thing, ever. And one of the things I like about local government, guess what? People know where you live. They know where you run around. They know where you eat. They know where to come and find you. And that's one of the things that I loved about city government was you're right here. You're not at the state. You're sure as heck not at the national level. Well, nobody can even get a hold of you. You're right here and you're answering to the folks. And that's what you should be. And that was one of the things I always enjoyed and loved the most about being the mayor. I never took it for granted. I was very humbled to be the mayor for 8 years. I felt like I was very blessed to be able to do that. And Art Beckey's going to be coming up as the new mayor. He's going to make a fine mayor for this city. And we got some new councilors coming along. I'm excited to see how they do as well, because it's going to be very exciting. But one thing, and I will save this for the very last, is my family, my lovely wife, Kathy, who's out in the audience, and my family who have always been very supportive of me all the way through the things I've done and through my careers and stuff. And so with that, it's time for me to hush, but I will say this. I've been very humble about it. I never took it for granted ever. I don't take this job lightly. And for the people out there in this city, do I love them? Absolutely. And the staff that works for the city, do I love them? Yes. And this group up here that's been my council, absolutely. They've been tremendous. And so that's my honor to say goodbye and go on to the next thing, which is the oath of the new officers. Okay, so.
We also have some public comment, Your Honor.
Oh. Okay.
We aren't quite done, Mayor Lambert. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Lambert, City Council members, and staff. My name is Jenny Ford, and I'm a Business Relationship Officer with ICCU. And I will allow my colleague to introduce himself.
I'm Alexander Orozco. I'm the Community Development Officer at ICCU.
We will be brief. Idaho Central Credit Union sincerely appreciates the partnership with the City of Moscow, especially since the construction of our new facility and the ICCU arena at the U of I campus.
It is an understatement to all of you serving in a public leadership position since March of 2020 that it has been a unique experience. You've all navigated difficult situations, fluid environmental conditions, and at times fear from the general public and our business community regarding what was coming next. We want to thank Mayor Lambert for his two terms of service and express our gratitude for Brandy Sullivan's service as a city council member for 4 years. In addition, we want to acknowledge City Supervisor Gary Reeder's many years of service at the City of Moscow with his upcoming retirement this week. ICCU and our CEO, Kent Oram, would like to thank you for your commitment and service to the City of Moscow, and we would like to present you with a small token of our appreciation. We have lots of goodies from the Moscow Food Co-op that are individually wrapped in the back here, so you can also take them home. And then we also have gift cards for Brandy, Bill, and Gary to one of our favorite spots in downtown Moscow, Book People. We sincerely appreciate you and wish you well.
Thank you so very much. Very kind. Thank you very much. Well, I am good. Before I go on to that,
Thank you very much.
the oath of the new officers or counselors and mayor, I will say something about ICCU and their CEO, Kent, when he did a presentation at the university a number of years ago with President Chuck Staben about the new arena and the dedication that they were going to bring to the university and to this community. And I grabbed the guy and cornered him. I said, hey, look, we need one of your facilities here in Moscow. And that's, so him and I talked, and I said, you're going to be a contributor like this for this fine university in our area. We need to have your business here in this town. And that's always been a big deal with me anyway. Businesses, long story short, he did in fact, and I told him, and he said, we're going to do this. And another time I had a meeting with him and he said, we're building. And I said, as soon as you get that thing opened, I will open an account. And I did. The first week they did, because I followed up with what I said I would. I opened a checking account, a savings account, a safe deposit box there. And they're a wonderful organization. Now, I'm not saying that just because they came up here and said what they did, but the point of it is they do a lot for a lot of communities in this area, and they're big for us here in Moscow as well as the rest of the state of Idaho. So I wanted to share that with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Jenny, you're back there somewhere in your colleague. Okay, folks, with that, we'll move on to the oath of office administered by the city clerk.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I have an acknowledgement for you.
Oh.
Can we extend this a little bit longer?
Sure.
So, because I prepared something to say for you.
Oh. Okay.
So I would like to share that you have been a stellar example of nonpartisan politics, which is what local government is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You time and time again demonstrated that your decisions were based on what you think is best for the community, not based on any group or political ideology. And that has been a great leadership role of how local politics should be. You're industrious, hardworking, you are reliable and steadfast, and your sense of humor often catches us off guard when we least expect it, which just helps everything. You're a genuine, honest communicator with a natural ability to speak from the heart. I don't think I've ever seen you read from a script, unlike me, other than ordinances, which must be read by title and published by summary. And your love and caring for Moscow and your appreciation, especially your appreciation for youth in Moscow, is apparent in every meeting that I've ever been a part of.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Geez, have you ever seen me speechless reading it for crying out loud?
Not that I can recall.
This is very, very nice. And thank you very much for the kind word, Brandy, and for the things that everybody has said. It's very, very nice. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on, folks. We got to keep going. It's 8:10.
Are we sure?
Yes, we're sure we need it. Let's get this oath of office. Lori Lewis will be taking care of this. Sorry. That goes. That goes back from yesteryear. Lori Hopkins will be administering this. Told you I got a little emotional. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you know the drill. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Art Becky,
I, Art Betke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully
the
discharge
duties of mayor in the city of Moscow,
the duties of mayor in the city of Moscow,
Latah County, Idaho,
Latah County, Idaho,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Certificate of election.
They'll do fine, Art.
Oh, Julianne.
Doing the right thing.
Together. Right.
Okay, got it.
All right, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Haley Lewis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
in the city of Moscow, Latah County, Idaho,
in the city of Moscow, Latah County, Idaho,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Well, let's give them. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to adjourn this 2021 city council.
Okay, we're reconvening City Council for the first meeting of 2022 with the new council in place. Haley Lewis down here, Julia Parker down there, and all of the other familiar faces in between. So the first item on the reconvened council's abbreviated agenda is the mention of the council organization as determined tonight. So Sandra, would you?
Thank you, Mayor Bedke. It's my honor. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around tonight. We have had the great privilege when we get new counselors in and a whole new year to have council assignments. And we spent the better part of early this evening putting that together. And I would like to share that I am the council president. Maureen Laughlin will be the vice president. We have a slate of commissions that I want to share with you all because as our former mayor, Bill Lambert, stated, commissions are very important and they have played a big part in all of our lives in one way or the other. And so I'm excited to share the results of this. For the Arts Commission, our council liaison will be Maureen Laughlin. Building Code Advisory Committee will be Gina Teruscio. Fair and Affordable Housing, Julia Parker. Farmers Market, Haley Lewis. Historic Preservation and Human Rights Commission, myself, Sandra Kelly. Moscow Pathways, Ann Zabala. Parks and Rec Commission, Ann Zabala. Planning and Zoning, Haley Lewis. Sustainable Environment Commission, Julia Parker. Transportation Commission, Maureen Laughlin. And Tree Commission, Gina Tesario. There are some other appointments besides just the commissions, and so I'd like to share those also. 1912 Center Facilities Committee. Are those yours? I am so sorry, Mr. Mayor. I'd be happy. I don't see that at all. So anyway. Okay. I still don't see it, but take charge, sir.
It says mayor appointments. council
Sure.
Confirmation, so.
I thought that was.
I'll do that in my own
okay.
time here. I get number 11.
What?
So, but actually the rest of them are still yours, the seat of the chamber.
Oh, well, see, we're all new to this, so we're breaking everything in. So thanks for your patience. So for the Airport Board Vice Chair, Art Bedke. CETA, which is Clearwater Economic Development Association, Julia Parker. Chamber of Commerce Board Ex Officio, Art Bedke. Moscow Volunteer Fire Department, Ann Zabala. Police Basin Aquifer Committee, Gina Cesario. Smart Board, Haley Lewis. Urban Renewal Aid, sorry. Whitcomb Executive Board, Police Chief James Fry.
Very good. So next up is public comment and mayor's response period.
Your Honor, we need to make a motion and
To confirm.
Good heavens, I thought
official
they
council
settled that
action.
in the pit with the short knives.
there.
Is there a motion to accept the commission assignments?
Your Honor, I move we accept the commission assignments.
Second.
No further discussion? Let's start with Haley.
Aye.
Gina,
Aye.
Sandra,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
That was awesome.
Ann,
Aye.
and Julia.
Aye.
I've got to learn all the new names up and down. It's all confusing. Everybody is out of order and out of place. So now we're good to move on.
Now we can.
So next up, the public comment and mayor's response period for the next 15 minutes. Probably won't use it all, but 3 minutes. Please come up, state your name, address. Tell us what's on your mind, even though we know who you are, Victoria. And you might want to swivel your microphone.
Really?
Not standing on that side. Okay, Victoria Saber, Moscow. So it's a little out of order since you've all done your switching around. Some of you are still here. I hope you're still here. Anyway, I wanted to acknowledge our 3 departing members tonight. So Gary, the ever highly competent city supervisor, Brandy,
There she is.
There she
yeah,
is.
good.
A very compassionate and hardworking to be as fair as widely possible counselor. And Bill's out there.
No, he's right back there.
Oh, there you are. A broad-based, effective collaborator mayor for Moscow. So, Brandy, you've been painstakingly diligent in your duties and perspectives. You truly listen, ingest, empathize, and come to the best decisions you can. And notably, you take great care in sharing the why of it. Mayor, You've been untiring enthusiastic promoter for the city's welfare and character, upfront and open with everyone, and an apt representative for our energy and interests. Gary, you've been in that nexus position to pull together so many aspects of government service and have acted as a steadfast agent for success. Your guidance and labor have been invaluable. With all of you, it's been my privilege to have had years of extended conversations and interchanges with lengthy emails. You've always been willing to engage in ideas and suggestions. You've done a great job and have acted with integrity. You pass the torch to capable hands, whom we also welcome tonight. We are grateful for your contributions and leadership. Know that you leave your mark to our betterment. Thank you all. Catch you on the flip side. And Gina, Art, and the other Bill, carry on with excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Anyone else want to participate in public comment? Okay, seeing none, we're on to the last item on the agenda at long last, which is the mayor's appointments. And I have a few for tonight. I'll just put them all together as one package. The 1912 Center Facility Committee, Sandra Kelly. The 1912 Center Use Committee, Haley Lewis. John Kimberling for the Airport Board. The Urban Renewal Agency Board Member for 2-year term expiring 2022 is Sandra Kelly. Urban Renewal Agency Board Member, 2-year term expiring 2023, Maureen Laughlin.
Mr. Mayor, one point of clarification. The seat for Sandra is a 1-year term, right? I think it might be a typo. Does it still, okay.
Yeah,
beautiful.
they're staggered. I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier, Haley.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Good job.
Move to accept the mayor's appointments.
Okay. Motion by Haley, second by Maureen. No further discussion. We'll start with you, Haley.
Aye.
Gina?
Aye.
Sandra?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Anne?
Aye.
And Julia?
Aye.
Okay, that takes us to the end of the entirety of 2 different years' worth of city councils. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Your Honor, if I may, before we do that, we did a little research in the city archives and found an ordinance number 17, which was passed on April 15th of 1888. And it was an ordinance setting the salaries of city officials. And the very first section says, the trustees of the town of Moscow, that's you, shall receive for their services the distinguished honor of receiving the growls and curses of the citizens at large and no other compensation whatsoever. So we've come a long way since 1888.
I think those still exist. It's just been added on to over the years. Well, shall we?
So moved.
Okay, adjourned.